as the agency of the future. So we're doing a lot of stuff that literally no one else in Pakistan is doing. So I think one of the strongest pieces of the marketing background that I have is driving innovation. So we're really focusing on innovation, not only in traditional media, but also in the digital space. And we're really trying to introduce services that actually don't exist in Pakistan. तो उसके अंदर आपका डेटा मैनेजमेंट प्लेटफॉर्म का इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया है. उसके अंदर with, for example, the only agency that has a local seat on Google's DBM platform. This allows us a great deal more flexibility and hopefully cost efficiencies relative to anyone else. So from our client's perspective, it allows us to have a great deal more control in where we're actually placing ads. It also allows us cost efficiencies that you can't get otherwise, because we're actually buying locally through our own exchange or through our own seat on the exchange. From a publisher standpoint, it means that their inventory is pretty much sold. It is a win-win. There are some dangers to programmatic buying, as you know. There is the inadvertent placement of ads in inappropriate places. So we actually spend a great deal of time and energy in whitelisting publishers that we can actually place ads with. Globally, digital is now the same size or bigger than traditional. It's inevitable that will happen in Pakistan as well, because we are part of the global multiverse that is, that we live in today. The only question is when. So right now, digital is probably approaching 18 to 20% of traditional TV spend, but it's growing at an exponential rate. So 20, 30, 40, 50% growth year on year. The challenge is that we don't really have metrics to measure the growth of AdX in digital. We do have some metrics on TV, so we get fairly robust numbers from there, but digital numbers are all estimates. Google can give you their numbers, Facebook can give you their numbers, but then everyone else is still out there doing their own thing, so it becomes a very qualitative assessment of where the market is. So, conservatively 15, 18, 20%, but growing at 30, 40%, and your traditional media is definitely not growing at that rate. So there will come a time when the two lines will overlap. I would hesitate to predict exactly when, but I would say somewhere in the next 3 to 5 years. Well, we don't see YouTube as a digital channel anymore. We just see it as another screen. So we are doing something called video neutral planning, where basically it doesn't really matter when the content is being consumed. The how of it is either traditional TV sets or your laptop or your phone, as the case may be. So it's a radical shift in the way people are consuming content. Most of the traditional media channels have picked up on this very, very quickly, and most of them have placed their inventory on YouTube because it's all incremental views for them. But yes, obviously it is a matter of convenience, because not every viewer can afford to sit down in front of the TV for an hour from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock or from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We are, as consumers, we're demanding flexibility in all aspects of our lives, and we are willing and able to pay for that flexibility. It all boils down to the value that we think we're getting. So YouTube is currently free, but there's really no such thing as free. Anytime a product is being offered to you free, that means that you are actually the product. So YouTube is very happy to collect your data and make their targeting even more specific than it is today. Anyone who ignores this screen does so at their own peril. We're seeing numbers as high as 80% of accessing the internet on mobile phones. When you talk to Generation Z, people born after the year 2000, they don't understand when you say laptop. So the internet is coming through the mobile. And any advertiser who doesn't understand that and doesn't prepare content for that format is doomed. Well, every time Mark Zuckerberg utters a statement about anything, it might be the weather, it impacts the way that we do business. Facebook is the #1 platform in Pakistan. It has the highest number of people registered on one platform. It's also growing very fast. It's also a source of information and entertainment for 40 million plus Pakistanis. So every time Facebook changes the algorithm or plays a game with the newsfeed or how advertising appears in the newsfeed, we actually have to then go back to all of our clients and brief them on what just happened. So we're very fortunate in that we are affiliated with a publicist group that regularly issues notice of change X, change Y, change Z. Every week we get a notification that says, hey, these are all the changes that were announced last week, and this is what it means for you. Look, it comes back to the quality of the content that advertisers are putting out. That's one of the reasons we have our own content division, and we actually spend a lot of time and energy working on the content that we're putting out on behalf of our clients. If the content is crap, no one will share it. Doesn't matter whose newsfeed it shows up in. If the content is wow, people will share it, people will talk about it, regardless of the algorithm. YouTube is now the second largest search engine in Pakistan. The power of YouTube continues to grow, and that's reflected in the pricing of their publisher, their YouTube mastheads. They doubled the price in 1 year, and sorry, not in 1 year, in 1 day. And they were expecting some pushback from the industry and from clients, and the opposite happened. They sold out their full year's inventory in 1 week. So agencies like us actually bought 25-30% of their total inventory for the year. And our clients are now like, wait, what? So yeah, it used to be $6,000, now it's $12,000. And this is a reflection of the maturity of the market. That people understand that I'm getting 30 million unique views a day from one YouTube masthead. If I'm going to do something national, I have to be present there. If I want to do other things, yes, I can go to other, smaller publishers. YouTube has in fact introduced a local publisher masthead as well. So there's a lot of interesting things that are happening. I'm not sure where we're going to go from Facebook. I do think that Facebook will continue to grow for now, because when I'm talking to pretty much across different strata in Pakistan, whether you were talking to A, B, C, D, or E, people are either on Facebook or they're getting on Facebook, and they want to get on Facebook. Simply because, the falani celebrity bhi hai wahan pe, aur main falane page pe bhi ja sakta hu, aur main ye bhi dekh sakta hu, and so on. The other, you're aware of the other platforms. They're all relatively small at this point. They're all relatively niche. The Instagrams and the LinkedIns and Snapchat is negligible at this point. But all of these are growing fast. So I don't know where they're going to net out, because on a population of 207 million, even 40 million is nothing. Right? So for example, in a country, I think in one of the Nordic countries, Sweden or Finland, they have a total population of 4 million and they have 3.7 million people on LinkedIn. So, it's like, okay, so if you're not on LinkedIn, there's something wrong with you. Either that or you're in preschool, because everyone else is on LinkedIn. So it really is a reflection of who we are as a society. So we are a Facebook society right now. No, there's no shift. In fact, most of the print publications have done a good job of going online themselves. So they're picking up more than their fair share of digital spending online. So I really don't understand this continuous hum mar rahe hain, hame bacha lo, aisa kuch nahi hai. Print is doing very well. There are new publications being launched every month in Pakistan at a rate which is unprecedented, by the way. जितने नए publications पाकिस्तान में launch हुए हैं पिछले एक साल में, शायद पूरे मिडिल ईस्ट में नहीं लॉन्च हुए होंगे. मिडिल ईस्ट में तो रिट्रैक्शन चल रही है. There are actually titles closing down, but here you've got titles that are expanding and growing and becoming even more glamorous and more whatever. So it's an interesting dynamic. I don't see a shift at the expense of anything. I think the overall ADEX is increasing. Now we are under advertised as a nation. If you look at the amount of money being spent on advertising to 200 million Pakistanis, if you try and compare that to, let's say, 320 million Americans, we're not indexed at a fair level. We're indexed at probably 5% of that spend. So there's a long way to go in terms of advertising spend in Pakistan.
So how much of the pie do you think digital will take up in the next coming 3 to 5 years?
30%, 35%?
Isn't that still low?
Not really, because that would say that traditional is another 30-35%, and then print and outdoor and others is another 25-30%. So that means that it's actually achieved parity with traditional. Because we as agencies need to be more accountable as well. We need to be accountable to our clients. We cannot simply implement things that the client wants us to implement without offering good advice. If we have a point of view, it's our duty to share that point of view.